We live in a world that often measures success by the numbers in a bank account. We're taught to save, to invest, to accumulate. The goal, we're told, is to become rich. But what if we've been looking at the wrong kind of wealth all along? What if the most valuable treasures we can gather aren't made of paper or metal, but of moments, memories, and connections? I've spent a lifetime on the road, and I can tell you with certainty that the greatest riches I have found were never listed on any stock exchange. They're the kind of wealth that grows not in a portfolio, but in your heart and in your mind. This is the wealth of the traveler. This alternative form of richness doesn't come with a price tag. It can't be bought or sold. Instead, it's earned through curiosity, openness, and the courage to step outside of our comfortable routines. It's the wealth you gain when you share a meal with a family in a tiny village. Money can buy you a ticket, it can secure you a hotel room, but it cannot buy the genuine, unscripted moments that become the true currency of travel. I remember a time in rural Turkey, far from any tourist trail. My bus had broken down, and I found myself stranded in a small village as evening approached. A local farmer, seeing my predicament, simply smiled and gestured for me to follow him to his home. There was no transaction, no negotiation. There was only a shared meal of bread, cheese, and olives, with his family, communicating with smiles and hand gestures, under a sky full of stars. That evening I was richer than any billionaire. That experience cost me nothing in terms of money. In fact, I was in a situation where money was temporarily useless. Yet, the value of that memory is immeasurable. It taught me about hospitality, generosity, the universal language of human kindness. These are the dividends of travel. They're the unexpected returns you get when you invest your time and your curiosity in the world. You might plan an itinerary down to the minute, but the most precious moments are often the ones that happen when your plans fall apart. Our memories are a rich tapestry, woven from the threads of our experiences. Travel provides the most vibrant and colorful threads imaginable. I recall a journey through the Swiss Alps. I had planned to take a famous scenic train ride, but on a whim I decided to get off at a tiny, little-known station halfway up the mountain. I spent the afternoon hiking on a simple trail, surrounded by the sound of cowbells and the scent of wildflowers. I sat on a bench and ate a piece of cheese, while gazing at a glacier. That simple, unplanned afternoon is woven more brightly into my memory than any scheduled tour I have ever taken. I remember a morning in a small town in Portugal. I was sitting at an outdoor cafe, sipping my coffee. An elderly woman at the next table was meticulously shelling peas into a bowl, her fingers moving with a rhythm perfected over decades. We didn't speak the same language, but we exchanged a smile. In that simple, shared moment, I felt a connection to the place, to its people, and to the slow, beautiful pace of life. It's a snapshot in my mind that I can pull out any time and feel a sense of peace. That snapshot is a form of wealth. This is a masterpiece that no amount of money could ever commission. Every time you travel, you open a window into a different world. You get to peek into the lives of people, different customs, different beliefs, different ways of looking at the same sun. This is one of the most profound forms of wealth travel provides. It's an education in humanity. It challenges our assumptions. It breaks down the stereotypes we may not even realize we hold. The world is not just headlines and statistics. It's a neighborhood of real people, real families, hopes, dreams. I remember my first visit to Morocco. I was wandering Jama El Fna in Marrakesh. The sights, the sounds, the smells. At first it felt chaotic and overwhelming, but I started to see the patterns. A storyteller captivating children, vendors proudly displaying their crafts, families sharing a meal as the sun went down. My feeling of being an outsider melted away. I felt deep appreciation for a culture so vibrant. The world is the greatest classroom you will ever find. History, art, politics, geography, they all come to life when you step out of the textbook and into the streets. You can read about the Roman Empire for years, but nothing compares to walking through the Roman Forum, touching the ancient stones, imagining the senators and citizens who walked those same paths 2,000 years ago. Suddenly history is not a collection of dates and names. It's a tangible, living story that you are a part of. This is an education that sinks deep into your bones. I think of places like Normandy in France. You can see the documentaries, or read the books about D-Day, but to stand on Omaha Beach, to feel the sand under your feet, and to look out at the English Channel is a profoundly different experience. To walk through the American cemetery, seeing the endless rows of white crosses, is a lesson in sacrifice that no classroom lecture could ever convey. It hits you with an emotional force. It connects you to the past in a way that is personal and powerful. This is experiential learning at its most potent. One of the most surprising and wonderful treasures you will collect on your travels is a portfolio of friendships. These connections often bloom in the most unexpected of places. They are not forged over years, but in moments. It might be with a fellow backpacker you meet on a long train ride across India, sharing stories and snacks as the landscape rolls by. Or it might be with a shopkeeper in a Greek village, who invites you for a cup of coffee and tells you about his family. These encounters may be fleeting, but their impact can be lasting. I remember being on a ferry to a small island in Croatia. I started talking to a family from Germany who were on their annual vacation. We talked about our travels, our jobs, our lives back home. By the time the ferry docked, we had exchanged emails and promised to keep in touch. We were strangers from different countries, brought together by the simple fact that we were on the same boat at the same time. That simple conversation built a bridge. A few years later, when I was in their city, we met for dinner. The friendship that started on a ferry had grown into a genuine connection. These friendships are a powerful reminder of our shared humanity. Sometimes the connections we make while traveling go beyond simple friendship. We find a temporary family. This happens a lot in hostels, on group tours, during long-term stays in one place. You are thrown together with a group of strangers from all over the world. You share cramped dorm rooms, cook meals together in a communal kitchen, navigate the challenges of a foreign city as a team. For a week, or a month, these people become your family. You look out for each other, support each other, and share the highs and lows of the journey. I have fond memories of a cooking class I took in Tuscany. Our group was a mix of people: a young couple from Australia, a retired teacher from Canada, a solo traveler from Brazil, and me. We spent the day learning to make pasta from scratch, guided by a wonderful Italian nonna, all while laughing and sharing stories. By the time we sat down to eat the feast we had prepared, we felt like a family that had gathered for a holiday celebration. We have journeyed through this idea together, exploring how travel can make us rich in ways that have nothing to do with money. We've seen how experiences become our currency. We've seen how memories become our tapestry, and we've seen how strangers become our family. The wealth we gain from stepping out into the world is a wealth of perspective, understanding, connection, joy. It's a fortune that can never be lost or stolen. It is stored in the safest vault there is, your own mind and your own heart. It's a richness that grows with every new stamp in your passport. This kind of wealth accumulation is available to everyone. It doesn't require a trust fund or a winning lottery ticket. It only requires a shift in perspective. Value a sunset over a stock tip. Value a conversation over a commercial. Value a new experience over a new possession. You can start small. Explore a neighborhood in your own city that you've never been to. The world is a giant treasure map, and it is spread out before you. So I ask you this simple, thought-provoking question. What is the first memory you want to add to your treasure chest?